Well, Joe Biden's latest disaster is about to strike the very core of the United States of America. If you've been watching my channel, then you're already well aware that Biden is hell-bent on destroying this country. We already know that he implemented vaccine mandates and measures and mask mandates, all of which destroyed our country and put tens of thousands of people out of a job. We also know his fiasco in Afghanistan, where he literally left $1 million military equipment in the country for terrorists to get their hands on, not to mention hundreds to thousands of people left there in Afghanistan and his crazy, chaotic withdrawal. Not only that, but how about the massive amounts of inflation, our gas prices here in the United States of America, and of course, we cannot forget the border crisis. Well, on top of all of that, a new crisis is about to strike. But before I get into the report, just a quick break. Friends, the time to prepare is not during bad times, but when times are good. If you know that big storms are coming, then you prepare in advance. Well, the same goes with our nation's future. Things may seem somewhat calm right now, and that's why now is the perfect time to prepare you and your family for what might lie ahead. A big crisis or even a catastrophe can strike at any time. This is why I highly recommend that you have emergency food supply for you and your family. And I personally recommend My Patriot Supply at preparewithlisa.com. My Patriot Supply is America's #1 preparedness company. In fact, they have millions of satisfied and happy customers. Their food lasts up to 25 years in storage. In fact, it's an insurance policy that you can eat. When you need it, the food is going to be there. Don't be a victim when disaster strikes. Make sure your family is ready. And right now, they've got some of the best prices on the market. Right now, Prepare with Lisa is giving away a 4-week food supply kit for $50 off. And you can even get a 3-month food supply kit at up to $150 off. All you have to do is go to preparewithlisa.com, and I'm going to take you to the website here. And as you can see, they have the amazing special of the 4-week emergency food supply kit. It's got over 2,000 calories per day, 16 different varieties, so the 25-year shelf life I told you about, and it has breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, and snacks. Amazing deal. But if you even want to go with more protection for you family, I highly recommend the 3-month emergency food supply kit. I personally have this in my storage as well, and you can get up to $150 off. So check it out today at preparewithlisa.com and protect you and your loved ones. Want more information on that? Then click in the description box below. All right, back to the broadcast. So just what is Joe Biden's latest disaster that's about to strike the core of the United States of America? Well, Fox News' Tucker Carlson blows the lid on this latest disaster. And that disaster is his 1.2 infrastructure bill that's not really going to actual infrastructure. There's huge portions of it going elsewhere. Well, some portions of it go to infrastructure. And by the way, our infrastructure is deteriorating at a massive rate. Take a look at what I'm talking about here. And this is on foxnews.com. Tucker Carlson, the $1.2 trillion infrastructure spending should mean better roads, but it doesn't. Because of equity, you're about to get a lot more speeding tickets. Now, the article goes on to state this. According to the American Society of Civil Engineers, which keeps track of these things, there are more than 617,000 bridges in this country. As of tonight, more than 46,000 of these bridges are considered structurally deficient. That means they're in terrible shape. Kind of a really big deal. As for our roads, fully 43% of all public roadways in this country are in poor or mediocre condition. In other words, we are actually Mexico, though we're a lot richer. So what are we going to do about this? What is the $1.2 trillion plan going to do for our crumbling infrastructure? Well, Pete Buttigieg has a plan, and here it is. More speeding cameras. Yes, you heard that right. According to AP, Pete Buttigieg would like to, quote, promote greater use of speed cameras, which the department says could provide more equitable enforcement than police traffic stops. Got that? So because of equity, you're about to get a lot more speeding tickets from robots. Let me just hit the pause button right there, and I'm going to come back to this article. But basically, here's what we got going on. We've got 617,000 bridges across the United States of America, 46 4,000 of them are literally crumbling and falling apart. And the Biden administration, instead of focusing on fixing our crumbling infrastructure and crumbling roads, Pete Buttigieg decides, no. We're going to put more speeding tickets up, the little cameras that take your picture, photo radars up. So when you drive by, we can earn more money, to handle infrastructure. Interesting, isn't it? Now let's go on. The article goes on to state this, that it's not just falling apart at our bridges and our roadways are not the only things falling apart. We actually have massive problems in other transportation areas such as trains and as well as, our trucking industry. Here we go. Trains are in trouble in this country. He actually expands on that a little bit above there, but we already know that's part of the problem. But he also goes on, we're also short 80,000 truck drivers. And that could be a part of the reason that these shelves at your local grocery store are getting bare. And it's not just truck drivers either. By next year, airlines are expected to be short more than 10,000 pilots. And that's why between Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, airlines canceled more than 10,000 flights. That was this year. Good luck getting to Florida next year. Now, there are other causes for cancellation, none of which Pete Buttigieg is doing anything to fix. He's for vaccine mandates, of course, which caused huge shortages in all of those industries this year. This is another powerful point. So we've got crumbling infrastructure, our bridge, our roads, our transportations, our trains, our truck driving industry, 80,000 short. Not to mention, I just want to give a huge shout out to the Freedom Convoy right now over in Canada. I love you guys. I love what you're doing. You guys are awesome standing up for freedom. Over 50,000 truck drivers are there saying, Justin Trudeau can stick it up where the sun don't shine. I have a finger I want to point, but I'm not going to point it at Justin Trudeau because I'm going to be nice. But anyway, huge shout out to you guys. I know I'm sidetracking there, but hopefully you guys are following that. I've got information on Restricted Republic on that. But anyway, we have a crumbling infrastructure and we have delays in trains and flights and all of that. And Pete Buttigieg is more worried about other things. Oh, and not to mention some of the other things that our, government is failing on is how about actually salting the roads when it snows? And he quotes that in the same article here. And he says officials in Connecticut, as well as there's other areas, recently reported 285 car crashes because of icy weather. Oh, because they forgot to salt the roads. They didn't salt the roads. And he goes on to say the same thing for New York State. So here it is. So here you have roads you can't drive on, airports that don't work, planes that don't take off, and trains that are getting robbed. They are not small things. When your transportation network falls apart in a continental country, things grind to a halt. Everything depends on moving things one to another. This is absolutely critical for our country. So what is Pete Buttigieg actually focusing on? And here it is. Mayor Pete explained that the number one priority of the transportation department in the middle of a massive shortage of transportation workers, trains getting robbed, planes that won't take off, is keyword equity. Equity. So you know what we need to do? We need to work extra hard to screen out anybody who might be working in our transportation industry who happens to have the wrong colored skin. No joke. That's what he's worried about. And here's his actual words. You look at something like the investment in transit. It's America's of color. You look at something like the investment in transit. It's Americans of color, commuters of color who are most likely to depend on that. You look at the jobs we're going to create, and yeah, they have been traditionally white and male, but it doesn't have to stay that way. We were working with a lot of focus at the direction of the president to make sure that everything from the contracting opportunities from small businesses to the labor opportunities for working to fixing bridge, installing the electrical vehicle charger stations, and more likely to be workers of color and are more likely to be women. And Tucker Carlson says this. So that's kind of the problem. And that's been the problem with our trains, our planes, our automobiles for a century now. Too many white people in them. Got a lot of white airline pilots. That's the problem. Mayor Pete just said that. It doesn't have to be that way. It's equity, folks. Equity, 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 equity. Forget about it. Forget about the shortages and everything under the sun. Forget about our crumbling 46,000 bridges. It's equity. Too many white people in the industry. Wait, huh? Really? Pete Buttigieg must be so qualified for this position. Let's take a look at some of the man's credentials here. Here he is, U.S. Secretary of Transportation. Welcome to, Secretary of Transportation there, Pete Buttigieg. So it goes on to talk about what he is. He's a graduate of Harvard University, spent years in the Navy Reserve, 7 years as an officer in the Navy Reserve, deployment to Afghanistan. Well, no qualifications yet. Grew up in South Bend. Oh, I remember. Which was once home to the Studebaker car manufacturing. I don't think that really qualifies. But hey, he grew up in South Bend. I remember something about South Bend. Oh, yeah. Here it is. South Bend suffered pothole crisis under Pete Buttigieg. Wait now. I think that would unqualify him, right? The transportation secretary, the guy who's in charge of our infrastructure, couldn't even control potholes in his own city. Wait, maybe there's something else. Well, he returned to the Midwest. Nope, nothing there. It just is all about politics. He worked to transform South Bend's future. He didn't really improve people's lives by not fixing the potholes, but I digress. Nope. Statewide growth. Nope. Nothing. Hey, don't worry. He breastfeeds, I guess. That's it. That's all we got. No qualification whatsoever. It's kind of like what's happening now with Joe Biden's Supreme Court pick. It's not about the merit of the person. It's about the color of the skin. Hey, it sounds like that's all they're about. But hey, don't worry. He just had potholes in his city and couldn't control his own infrastructure. Meanwhile, we have bridges collapsing, but let's just look the other way. Here we have Fox News, and this is very recent. 10 injured in Pittsburgh bridge collapse ahead of Biden's visit. Crumbling infrastructure. It's insane. You know what else is in this infrastructure bill? I just want to mention this before I let you guys go because I think this is important. Biden and Democrats' infrastructure bill to mandate anti-drunk driving techniques in cars. So all your new cars get to monitor what you're drinking, how you're drinking, and whether or not you're going to be allowed in your vehicle. Here it goes. Apparently, drunk driving is infrastructure too. The $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill Biden will sign into law. This is a little bit older article, but it says includes a provision that will require automakers to install anti-drunk driving system into all new cars. The mandate falls under the section of the bill that has $17 billion allotted to road safety programs. Under the timeline laid out by the bill, it could go into effect as soon as 2025 to ensure the prevention of alcohol-impaired driving fatalities. Advanced drunk and impaired driving prevention technology must be the standard in all new passenger motor vehicles. In other words, they get to monitor everything you do, even in your car. Now, I'm obviously well against drunk driving. Nobody on the planet supports drunk driving whatsoever, at least I hope not. That said, they have no business installing something. People go to a restaurant, have one drink. Well, guess what? Your car's now not going to turn on. Yay! Joe Biden. This is the sickest thing I have ever seen. I don't know about you. But to sit there and say, now they have an automatic turn off switch in your car. Wait. It's almost like they have control over anything. Anyhow, I wanted to bring that to you. Obviously, my alarm bells are going up with this whole thing, but it's already law. What are we going to do? The 2022 midterm elections, the Republicans need to combat some of this stuff that the Biden administration has done. Anyhow, I love all of you. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.